Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 8th of February 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this last trading day of this week, or should I say even more evening for some, and maybe for some it's already a morning, but anyway, welcome to this last trading session, this trading video here for this week. So as always, we're going to have a look at the charts, a few instruments, but before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then guys, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the S&P 500. Now looking at this one here, yesterday it was a bit of a down day for the S&P, and let me actually just jump back into the daily on this one. You can see that it managed to break this this short-term tentative in a way upside support line. Managed to break it to the downside. Certainly had a bit of a retracement back down, but still kind of ended the daily candle in the negative territory. So in a way, of course, where we're looking at here is we are looking for some maybe continuation here of the downside, and looking at the cash index where it's trading right now. It is trading currently slightly below the closing price of yesterday, so in a way we could see a push further down, especially if we're going to get a nice drop here below the 2685 zone. Keep your eyes on that one. A break below this this level could potentially lead towards further declines, where we could then target this downside resistance line taken from the high of October here, and of course then the area to watch out around there as well is the 2650 level. So keep your eyes on that one, but like I said, for now it seems that we could see a further decline here to the downside, unless this of course suddenly gets back all the way back above this upside support line and breaks the 2740 level. So a nice good pop above that, and just to let you know that that was the high of yesterday, so a nice good push above that level could lead the index towards the psychological 2800 level. Now the big question, of course, would that be today? I highly doubt that, but something like that could be possible if we see a nice good push above the 2739, 2740 level. If we see a nice good push above that, then yep, it could open the path towards that nice good beautiful number of 2800. But for now it seems that the upside could be slightly off the table, and we could see maybe another push lower. So in a way, initially, long story short guys, keep your eyes on the 2685 level. A nice good break below that could lead towards the 2650 area for a possible test. So let's see how this plays out today. Jumping into DXY now, I was covering this one a few times this week, and basically I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this upside support line. You can see that today we've managed to break that to the downside, but you can see that the bulls are fighting hard in order to kind of keep the index above that line. So of course, let's see how this plays out today. Certainly for now, it seems to be more slightly on the bearish side, but again, because it's quite close still to this upside support line, and it's not far from the pivot as well, so to be honest, it has got an equal chance of retracing back up again and staying above this upside support line. If we see something like this, of course, this creates a bit of a problem for the bears, as we could see maybe more bulls jumping in here, especially if we're going to clear the 96.6870 level. If we're going to clear that area, then yep, it is opening the path towards higher levels. So in a way, let me just kind of put an arrow here for our future reference, but for now, guys, for now, all eyes are on this upside support line. Let's see how this and where this index is going to close, and if we close outside of it, then we could see a further decline here, further decline to the downside. But again, when the bears kind of should remain cautious, because if it fails to drive back below this downside resistance line, this downside resistance line that has been running here from around December, the highs of December, and if it fails to drop below this, then yep, we could see maybe the bulls stepping in here again and potentially driving this one higher. But again, for now, just keep on monitoring this upside support line. For now, of course, for looking at the current picture, it seems to be more bearish than bullish, but then again, the day is not finished yet, and we could see maybe a reversal here, and where the index would stay above this upside support line for today. Jumping into platinum now, this is something, this one precious metal that I really like to look at, and basically this week, or should I say starting from Wednesday, this precious metal continues to sell off here, and it's already not far from this upside support line here. And just to kind of remind you guys, this upside support line has been running here for quite a while, and if we go back into history here, this is where it has been running from. So from the lows of August last year, and of course, like I said, it made an attempt today to try to reach it, but it kind of failed to do that and retraced back up here towards the pivot, but it kind of failed to drive above it. So this pivot here is around the psychological 800 level, and certainly for now it seems that it continues to stay here. Let's see how this plays out further. We might actually even see it a test of this upside support line if we drop below the S1, below today's S1, which is around the 792 level, approximately there. So if we see a drop below the 792, there is a good chance we might see a test of this this upside, this kind of medium term, or should I say even say already long term upside support line. So keep your eyes on that one. If this suddenly let's say closes the day above this pivot here, and it closes the day in this territory, certainly not all is lost for the bulls. We could see this one traveling maybe next week a little bit higher, but to be honest, for a better confirmation of the upside, we would need to see a nice good break in a close of the daily candle above the 808 level, and only then we'll target these recent highs, especially the 825 level. So for now, guys, long story short, we are still trading below the pivot. Even though it did have a nice retracement back up here, still is kind of struggling to get back above this 800 level. So let's see what it wants to do, where it wants to go today. If it actually remains in this area here, between the 792 level on the downside and the 800 level on the upside, well, still the kind of the short-term outlook remains bearish. We could see this one traveling lower next week, but again, like I said, for us, we will continue monitoring these key levels, the 800 level on the upside and the 792 level on the downside. So keep your eyes on these potential breaks of these levels. Jumping into Ethereum now, Ethereum is getting a boost here today, and we managed to push higher, and we managed to push above the 107 level. So certainly that's quite good, quite positive for this crypto. But the only thing is that we've certainly now we continue to aim a little bit higher here. We continue to aim towards the 112.50. The only thing is that it's already quite extended here to the upside for today, and certainly we might see this a little range here, range trading activity in Ethereum for a while. So in a way, for those who are looking for a possible, I don't know, long-term trade here, you need to see a nice good, we need to see a nice good push above the, initially of course above the 112.50, but then also of course a nice good push above the this 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and in a way then we could target much higher levels, maybe even actually going all the way back towards the 150s. So yep, for now we're just going to remain cautious. Certainly it is a good sign that we managed to rebound from the area here, from the 100 level. It's a good, of course, yes, it's a good sign, but again, remain cautious because we could see this one maybe retracing back down again, because like I said, it's currently kind of stuck in this little range here between the 100 level and the 110 zone. So approximately there. So this is something for you guys to keep your eyes on. And actually, let me just quickly mark that for our future reference so that we wouldn't forget about this. And there we go. There we go. That's one. And the other one is right here. So basically, just kind of, guys, for you to keep an eye on, to keep on monitoring, and let's see what it wants to do with this little range. If eventually it gets a break here above the 110, that's wonderful. We could target higher levels. The only thing is, like I said, for a better confirmation of a potential move further up, in maybe more in the near term or medium term, we would need to see a nice good push above this 200 EMA, because for now it's just kind of trading below it. And even though it is showing some good signs, still kind of we are a little bit skeptical about the upside. And yep, let's see, like I said, let's see where exactly it breaks through. But for now, we're just going to continue monitoring it. Jumping into USDCAD now. USDCAD is getting a nice sell-off here today after the news release, after the unemployment figures that came out from Canada just recently. And of course, there are more people in jobs than in January than the month before that. But the only thing is that we still need to worry about the fact that the unemployment rate has increased, and it went slightly above expectations, just by 0.1%. But still, you can see that initially we had a nice reaction here on the Canadian dollar, so it put the USD CAD lower. I was talking about this one this morning, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on the 132.80 level. So a nice good drop below this certainly could increase the chances of maybe seeing further declines. But for a better confirmation of lower levels, we need to see a break below the 132.38 approximately there. But you can see that the pair managed to test that, slightly overshot it, but quickly got back above it. So now basically we're still keeping a close eye on. This is our little neutral zone here. So if this suddenly gets back above the 132.80, that's a good sign for the bulls. We could see this one maybe traveling further up here, of course, especially if it clears the last week's highs. Or sorry, this week's highs around the 133.30 zone. And if it does clear that, then yep, it is opening the path for itself towards higher levels. But for now we are stuck in this little area. This is our little neutral zone here, so we need to see a nice good push back above the 132.80 zone in order to kind of consider a possible move higher, or if we see a drop below the 132.38, yep, well, brace yourselves, we could see maybe a bit of a decline here back down. The only thing is, don't forget about this long-term upside support line that has been running here for quite a while, and that quite a while is from around the end of January. So basically, guys, still the kind of overall long-term outlook still remains bullish, but we could see maybe this little correction here, especially if the pair drops below the 132.38 level. So keep your eyes on that one. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because there's not much activity happening this week here, but still very interesting developments here. You can see that how this 110 level continues to play out. So if we can for sure say that it's a somewhat a psychological level, and of course, if we do get a nice pop here above this 110 level, then we probably could expect this one to travel further up here, maybe even actually going all the way towards the 112s. So in a way, you can see how long this is dragging here within this little range between the 110 on the upside and the 109.10 on the downside. Of course, if this suddenly drops below the 109.10, we do have another good potential area of support right here around the 108 109.50 level approximately there. That was marked by the low of last week. So in a way, guys, for now, what we're going to do here is just continue observing this. We're going to wait for that break either through the upper side here, through that 110 level. If we do get a nice good pop here, we probably could expect a nice good strong move here to the upside, at least, like I said, towards the 111.45 or even actually the 112 zone. So but if this suddenly drops below the 109.10, keep your eyes on this low that we saw here back on the 31st of January. But if that fails to withhold the bear pressure, then yep, further declines towards the 107.75 level could be possible, and that area acted as a very nice area of support here back on the 10th of January. So basically, guys, keep your eyes on it. For now, like I said, there's not much activity, and probably this is how we're gonna end the week. But maybe going into next week, we could see something interesting here, and potentially a break of one of these key resistance and support levels. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me on Monday morning at my Traders Espresso, and please do, I will be happy to see you there. And if that's 7 o'clock GMT time. But for now, for those who are finished for today, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. For those who are still planning to trade the US session, be very careful, be very accurate, and I hope the market goes in your favor, guys. But in general, guys, everybody have a nice, wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.